What's up, everyone? This is Cronus, aka Adam, back with my WWE Backlash pay-per-view recap and reactions. Pay-per-view happened last night. I'm going to go through all the matches, how I felt, how I scored on my confidence points. Spoiler alert, I only missed one, and it was close. So as always, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment, social media down there. And so, we're going to jump right into it. So we had the kickoff. We are told that we're going to get a Street Profits versus Viking Raiders Raw Tag Team title match later on in the night. We didn't. Not in the traditional sense or in any real sense whatsoever. There are a couple of things on the kickoff that kind of caught my eye. So obviously, the backstage crew of Booker T and Renee Young were joined by JBL, talking about throughout the kickoff show about certain things. And obviously, they mentioned Nia having the reputation for hurting people, and he was kind of making light of it, like, "Oh, you're in wrestling," but it's like, I don't know if he's in kayfabe or if he's actually being serious, because I mean, yes, obviously there's the inherent risk of getting hurt as a wrestler. Everyone knows that. But when someone works unsafe, you're working with people, and I'm not saying this as a wrestler, but as someone who just, is a fan of it and has, watched a lot of it and understood it, is that, you are putting essentially your life in another person's hands, and you hope that that person works safe and is, taking the right precautions to make sure that they don't hurt you or themselves. And someone like Nia, who's had the reputation of possibly, maybe she doesn't know her own strength, maybe she's just still green, whatever it is, but for him to make light of it was a little weird. I'm hoping that it was just him being in kayfabe, but to be honest, I don't know with him. We get a backstage interview with Christian and Flair. They're both talking about who they picked. Christian had some really good words. We then get the music video exclusive of Miz and Morrison, Hey, or whatever it's called. I thought it was hysterical. I thought it was funny, just abusing Brock, wetting the bed till he was 6, wearing Crocs, all this kind of stuff. I just thought it was funny, and I tweeted as such. We then get our one and only match on the kickoff show, which we didn't even know was happening. It sounds like it was kind of made last minute because of the fact that the individuals involved in here aren't exactly the most favorable to the new management. But either way, it was still a heck of a match. We had Apollo Crews versus Andrade for the U.S. title. Let's see. So Andrade comes out with Zelina and Angel Garza. So obviously, whatever beef they had was squashed. Then KO's music hits. He's got the cutoff with the tie. Comes over to commentary, kicks Byron out. Starts doing some play-by-play. We get the match going. Andrade with the Dragon Sleeper on the ropes, which I thought was pretty cool. He gets back body dropped onto the steel ramp by Apollo Crews. Apollo does the moonsault off the apron, hits a stalling suplex in the ring for 2 count. I still got to get a new chair because this is just so uncomfortable. We get double knees by Andrade for a 2 count. Apollo is chopping on Andrade while he's on the top rope. He trips Apollo, misses the Del Rio stomp, which is always a really dumb move, and then gets he starts running at Apollo. Apollo hits him with the belly-to-belly into the corner. It was brutal. Then he hit like a springboard, like Willow's Bell DDT, which is really, I have never seen him do that before. It was really cool move. Only a 2 count though. Apollo does the press slam, the moonsault shooting star combo, and as about to go for the pin, Angel Garza comes up, trying to distract the ref. Kevin Owens leaves commentary and hits him with a stunner, and while Andrade is distracted, while Apollo is distracted, Andrade tries to hit a hammerlock DDT. Apollo counters into his toss powerbomb for the win, which I thought was a little weird. On the cover, if you see, it was like Andrade was like holding up his like this as if he was like really hurt, and the ref wouldn't count the 3 at one point because it looked like his shoulders were up. So I didn't know if that was about to factor into it, like maybe it gave him enough time to kick out, but no, Apollo gets the win, him and Kevin Owens celebrate going up the ramp, and then we get Angel Garza and Andrade arguing on the outside. So obviously they're headed for some kind of split. I mean, it's just too much. They're just fighting all the time. We get a backstage promo by Sheamus, letting bygones be bygones. He's saying that the sober Hardy isn't the real Jeff Hardy, blah, blah, blah. Okay. We then get to the main show, kicking it off with the women's tag team title triple threat match: Sasha and Bayley, the champs, versus the Iconics versus Bliss Cross Applesauce. Before Bayley and Sasha come out, they do some backstage interview with Kayla, saying that they're being asked whether or not if they lose the titles would it affect their friendship. Bayley's just yelling at Kayla, saying that's a stupid question. They get out there. I do like that they adopted this rule. The three competitors in the ring, they can only tag their own tag partner. I've always hated the other one where it's only two people and you can tag whoever you want. It's always chaos there. I just find this a lot better. Big standoff between all three teams. We get a great sequence of pinning attempts with Peyton, Bliss, and Sasha. All of a sudden it breaks down to a big brawl. Bliss is slapping both Peyton and Sasha in the corner. I thought Alexa Bliss looked... Gotta watch out for her over there. I thought she looked great in this match. I thought everyone actually... I think the Iconics have really improved from their big layoff. Especially Peyton. It's obviously they've had their detractors over the last couple of years, which was understandable. But they definitely, and also it could be just that all these teams work very well together. Iconics go for their finisher, but Sasha pounces Peyton out of the ring. Sasha and Bayley do their own version of the kind of like the Casadore running knee lift, but Cross breaks up the count. Bliss starts Fez pressing literally everybody. Peyton hits this like crazy cross body through two people who were on the apron. I forget who it was, and then they fall through the ropes onto everybody else, which I thought was pretty cool. Bliss and Cross hit their 3D DT, their finisher. Bliss then hits a twisted Bliss on Peyton. Sasha then rolls up Bliss while she's going for the pin for the win. So we do have them retain. I do think this is a really good match. I think everybody looked good in this match, all the teams. I do feel bad because I wanted Bliss and Cross to win, but I did predict Sasha and Bayley. Let me see how many confidence points I have on that. I only had 2. Actually, I had 2 points on the Apollo Crews match. Sorry about that. And then I had 3 points of confidence in the women's tag because I just wasn't sure if they... I thought there's a possibility they could fast-track the Sasha-Bayley feud so that, taking the titles off them, and that could be the catalyst for it. But no, we will see Sasha and Bayley on Wednesday night against Shotzi and Tegan Nox for the tag team titles. I expect them to win there, but it should be a really good match. But yeah, no, once again, great match. Really great way to start off the pay-per-view, non-kickoff show. And yeah, so we'll go to the next match. Earlier today we see Braun arriving with his car. It's all fixed up. We then get a promo with letting us know that Extreme Rules will be on July, I think it was 19th. Hold on, let me just make sure. July 19th. Yes, July 19th. The color scheme kind of looked like Jeff Hardy, so based on their match, which is next, there is a thought that, they'll just have another match here between the two. So Jeff Hardy versus Sheamus. Sheamus coming out really aggressive. Hardy goes off the steps. Sheamus thrown against the commentary table. Jeff disconnects the ring steps, probably to use it later on. Sheamus slams Hardy on the ring post. Hardy looks like he has a legit leg injury, a knee injury at one point. The Irish Curse backbreaker does it twice. Sheamus for a 2 count. There's a giant knee by Sheamus, almost like a V trigger for a 2 count. Jeff Hardy hits Whisper in the Wind. I always have been against Whisper in the Wind because I always hate it. This one actually looked really good. It connected well, but I always find he barely grazes people with it, and it's more for it's kind of like a spot monkey thing. That gives people the idea of understanding what a spot monkey is, where it's just like a move where he's twisting in the air, but he does 0 damage. He barely ever hits anybody. But this one actually looked good for a 2 count. Sheamus goes for a bro kick, misses. Hardy with a sling blade. Hardy takes too long on the top rope. Sheamus was able to take advantage, hits the white noise, white noise air crash for a 2 count. Sheamus with the Texas Cloverleaf. Hardy's able to get to the ropes. We get some weird Hardy chants from the crowd. It's like Hardy, Hardy. It just sounded really weird. I just noticed that. Sheamus gets posted. Gets a Twist of Fate hit on him, and then a Swanton Bomb, which also looked really good, but Sheamus was able to get his foot on the rope to break up the count. And then Hardy back on they go to the outside. Hardy tries to run off the barricade, kind of like scaling the barricade across to do like some kind of move, whether it's a forearm drop kick or a clothesline, whatever. But either way, Sheamus catches him with a bro kick, throws him back into the ring for another bro kick, and gets the win. So right now it's 50-50 booking. Obviously, Hardy won that first match in the Intercontinental title tournament. I did predict that Sheamus. I believe, if I remember correctly, I changed my pick midway through discussing the match. I had 5 points of 5 confidence. 5 points of confidence on that. 5 confidence points of confidence. So I mean, I really haven't been happy with this overall. This was actually a good match, but just that the lead up to it and the nonsense in between kind of made me not as excited for it. So I was pleasantly surprised by the match. I'm guessing they're going to go for some kind of Extreme Rules match at Extreme Rules, TLC, or it's just going to be something where Jeff Hardy gets an opportunity to jump off something high. But either way, Extreme Rules should be the last match in this, whole thing. We get it backstage with Miz and Morrison. They're told, even though we found out on the Kickoff show, not sure why they wouldn't have known, but that whoever pins Braun, if one of them pins Braun, will be the champ as opposed to having co-champions. So they didn't know that. They're a little surprised. Otis and Mandy show up, and he tells them, whoever wins, he may cash in tonight. So yeah. We get the Raw Women's title match, Asuka versus Nia Jax. This is the only match I got wrong. Asuka starts off with Octopus, Nia with the big clothesline. Asuka tries to go for a Fujiwara. Nia with the Cobra Clutch. Asuka then goes to a guillotine. Nia hits a jackhammer, countered from the guillotine for a 2 count. Asuka with the Shining Wizard for a 2 count. We get Asuka with kind of like yes kicks, and then Nia with the sit down power bomb for a 2 count. Asuka with the flying armbar on the outside. Nia stands up and throws her up against the barricade, and they keep fighting while this is going on. And for some reason, I don't know if it was a botch or if this was supposed to happen, but neither of them made it seem like they were in any rush to get into the ring. You would think Nia, obviously, because the title can't change hands on a count out, she would have been more paying attention to that and try to get into the ring. Asuka tried to get into the ring at the last second, but unfortunately, no, there was a double count out. Asuka hits a flying hip attack on the apron to Nia, knocks her out of the ring. I mean, the match itself wasn't that bad. The finish really was stupid. I just don't get it. I mean, neither of them look strong with that kind of an ending. I mean, even though obviously Asuka is always going to be strong, but it just seems like we know that their goal is to go with Charlotte in some faction here. I'm just gonna got it. Okay. On my shoulder too. Not from that. I have a bad shoulder. So obviously Charlotte's going to get inserted in some way very soon. Probably at Extreme Rules, maybe even sooner. Who knows? And now with the double count out, I didn't really care that Nia was involved in this. I was kind of hoping that we would be done with it. But now with the double count out, you didn't beat me, blah, blah, blah. We know that that's going to happen, which I find very annoying, very stupid. We get a backstage MVP on the phone with somebody. He's renting a whole VIP room, lots of champagne, because he's already setting up the celebration for when he believes Lashley will win the title. Lana shows up. He hangs up the phone. She says that she wants to be at his side, to see this through. MVP says that he didn't say Lana can't be at ringside and that she should talk to Lashley, but she won't because she's afraid of the answer. We then get our Universal title match of Braun versus Miz and Morrison. Miz and Morrison come in, they throw their music video, so if you hadn't watched the Kickoff, you were about to get treated to it. About midway through, Braun's music and Tron appear, and the video stops. To start out, so full disclosure, I actually was very tired. It wasn't that this match, not that anything on the was putting me to sleep, the wrestling itself, but I was very tired. So when I got a phone call, I woke up and I was already in the next match. I had to rewind to get back to it, but I was still kind of out of it. So not like this match was that great anyway. I had 6 points of confidence on Asuka versus Nia too, which was really annoying. So we get quick tags back and forth between Miz and Morrison. Miz pump kick does no effect. Morrison hits a disaster kick. Morrison with like a corkscrew plancha over the top rope onto Braun Strowman. They do a double DDT for a 2 count. Morrison moves Miz out of the way for Braun to post himself, which he does pretty much every match now. Hits another disaster kick, Morrison. There's like this this combo where Miz does the skull crushing finale and Morrison does like a drop kick stomp from the top rope. And then Morrison goes for the pin. Miz pulls him off and immediately is like, oh crap, what did I do? Because they go for it again and Braun is able to kick out. So, Braun chokeslams the Miz, who gets knocked out of the ring. Then he hits a power slam on Morrison for the win. Nobody cares. At no point did I ever think that Braun was going to win. That Braun was going to lose that match. This is my most confident match. I had 7 points on this. So I'm just waiting for who's going to be the next feud for him. Is the Fiend going to come back? Is it going to be, actually I have no idea who it's going to be. I don't. Just doesn't make any sense. They're not really setting up anything. Miz and Morrison, they're just, they're kind of like a comedy act now, even though I like them both and I think they should be taken more seriously. But, Braun, as I've said, Braun's title reign right now has just been very lackluster. I just don't care. So, alrighty. So we get a recap of the IC match from SmackDown. We get a backstage interview with AJ. He announces that he will have a championship celebration or presentation on this week's SmackDown. He said that Bryan is good and proved that he's good. He's just not phenomenal. Not phenomenal. We then get Drew versus Lashley for the WWE title. MVP distracts Drew before the bell, and Lashley gets in the full Nelson. Refs come out to break it up. He finally releases it. Lashley goes after Drew again before the bell rings. Drew still hasn't even gotten his jacket off. We get a shot of Lana watching backstage. Drew with a Northern Lights suplex for a 1 count. Shoves Lashley into the barricade on the outside. MVP distracts so Lashley can fireman carry him into the post. But the problem was, like, right before that, I think Lashley slipped. He kind of had him in the fireman's carry and then dropped him, almost like a Death Valley driver. It looked kind of sloppy, so I assumed that Lashley maybe just lost his footing or just didn't have a good grip on him or something. Luckily, he didn't drop him really hard or in an awkward position because Drew was obviously all right. Drew with the top rope clothesline, does his kip up, hits a spine buster, jackknife pin for 2 count. Lashley with a big spine buster for a 1 count though. Lashley posts Drew, flatliner for another 1 count. So they're really booking Drew strong here. That like even moves where normally you just get the 2 count, even if it's just to get that 1 second of extra second of rest before you kick out, they're not even doing that. He's just kicking out of everything right away. Lashley goes for a full Nelson. Drew is fighting it off. Drew with the reverse Alabama slam for a 2 count. Lashley with a crossface. Drew tries to counter with the tombstone. Lashley counters, and that to an ankle. Drew, I think he's the one that does the ankle lock. But obviously with the tombstone reference, they had a really big feud back in TNA, and word has it that they really wanted to work with each other here in WWE. So they're doing some of the things that they did in their TNA matches. One of which being a tombstone. Drew gets a Drew gets a Kimura lock. Lashley gets to the rope. So there was a lot of obviously paying homage to Brock Lesnar there. Drew hits a superplex, goes for the Claymore, but Lashley counters with a spear for a 2 count. And then we get Lana coming to the ring. So here's the finish. Lana comes down to the ring. Then all of a sudden, for some reason, not only just comes to the ring, but gets on the apron, starts yelling at the ref. Lashley gets sent into her, and then she lands on MVP. Lashley turns around, and then gets a Claymore for the win. So, once again, you didn't need the shenanigans there. You could have had a clean win. Lashley, just gets another match. But now they've made it basically impossible for you not to see Lashley and Drew going at it again. So Lashley and MVP look at Lana, who's on the ground, and then they just leave her as they walk up the ramp. She's obviously not happy, and she's a little upset. She just cost Lashley the match. Obviously, this is going to lead to, most likely, to them breaking up in some way, because, it's just ridiculous at this point. Or just make Lana just a female competitor in the division and just have her wrestle, or not. Either way, I don't care about her anymore. Alright, now we get the head scratcher of the night. The Raw Tag Team titles. The Street Profits versus the Viking Raiders. Even though I don't even know why I'm calling it that, because that's not what happened here. We get shown that there's a fight breaking out backstage. And Eric gets slammed onto Braun's car through the windshield. So they all just, run off because they know that Braun will come out there and probably kill them. Fight goes on into the back. Street Profits grab golf clubs. Raiders appear with shields and a bowling ball and a sword. Street Profits are like, nah, we're done. So then they stand up again. Ford says this has gotten out of hand. Let's fight like men. So they put all the weapons down. Then they do the Dave Chappelle. I don't know why this reference. I mean, it's a dated reference, but I mean, it's still funny, obviously. The Rick James. What did the five finger say to the face? Slap. And they slapped him, and then the fight breaks out. While this is going on, Ivar, which we see a couple times, is having the flashbacks, kind of like the Mandy Rose thing. You know, he's having flashbacks at the bowling alley when he has a bowling ball in his hand. He bowls the ball into Ford's nuts. Yeah, ha 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 ha, totally childish humor. Clearly, we know who's back in charge. Ivar finds Eric down. Dawkins spears him through a glass door, which I thought was actually pretty cool. We get another flashback by Ivar of all the turkey leg spots throughout all the different things that they were doing. Everyone is nursing injuries. As they're about to, they say, let's take this outside. What happened? As they're about to fight, a motorcycle gang shows up. Led by who, you ask? Is it all the wrestlers that were released? Is it any other tag team division? No. It's Akira Tozawa acting like he's a Yakuza mob boss. Or like some straight out of Kill Bill, saying anything you could do, I could do better. The four of them huddle up, and they said they need to do this together to beat all these ninjas, and they become the Viking Prophets. So now they've done like a Power Rangers team up type thing, ridiculous. Then they fight the ninjas. There's sound effects like as if there was like an old school kung fu movie. And then they all get beat up, and then Akira Tozawa brings in this. Big guy, he was in the same class as Matt Riddle. I forget his name. He's just huge, and he's dressed up like a ninja. Ivar does like the Mjolnir, if you know your MCU, where he puts his hand out and the thing comes to him and it's a turkey leg. Ridiculous. It was basically in a bush. He starts eating it. Eric says, he's got this to go after the guy. They all like, no, that's ridiculous, and they all run away. They're running on the top of one of the production trucks. Ivar's already out of breath. They argue who beat up the ninjas. Then they start fighting again on top of the truck. They all end up in a dumpster. And then while this happens, Ivar has another flashback of all the spots of the women saying that he's cute and Eric isn't. And then Jessica Carr, the referee, shows up, comes into frame, and is going like, what are you guys doing here? Your match is next. Oh, and by the way, Ivar, you're cute. Eric, not so much. So, like, one... They're still supposed to have a match after all this freaking nonsense. It was like 25, 30 minutes. So there's that. Secondly, you're a ref. Now, I get, obviously, it's WWE and refs, obviously have... Once in a while, they're a ref, whatever. But you're supposed to be an impartial referee. And you're telling him that he's cute, which means what? Now what? You're gonna, favor him because you think he's cute? I found that really stupid. It just didn't make any sense. And then while they're in the dumpster, all of a sudden they see what looks to be either like a tentacle or like a tail. And so find out it's like a crocodile tail or alligator tail, whatever it was, because that was prominent in a couple of the skits. Also kind of like a homage to the trash compactor scene in Star Wars A New Hope. But yeah. So it turns out we find out that match isn't going to happen because that would be absolutely ridiculous for them to have a match so long after all this nonsense. We then get, for some reason, a recap of the kickoff match, and then we get our main event. The greatest match ever. I don't think that WWE is this smart, and this is something I thought of, but didn't verbalize it correctly until I saw someone verbalize it, but it was kind of what I was thinking. They put this lofty, unrealistic expectation on the match, right? By calling it the greatest match ever. For us, who are smart, will know there's no way it's going to be the greatest match ever. So by default, we are going to lower our expectations because we know that it's never going to be the greatest match ever. And then when they put on a banger of a match, it exceeds our expectations. So now we're saying, wow, that was a good match. Still was hampered by the fact that they put this ridiculous tagline on it. But overall, I'm sorry, I actually thought this was a good match. Okay. So they start off by having some kind of like drop down mic with MSG on it. I don't know why. It's not like they were in MSG. They had Fink doing the intro. They had Little Nate, kind of with the old school referee's outfit with the bow tie, giving the instructions. They said that this was supposed to be like enhanced with camera angles and stuff. I did not like that. I didn't need to see like the angle from up, when they're locking up, or like the camera like zooming in on their faces, like the guy was in the ring while it was going on. I didn't enjoy that. I understand what they were trying to do there, but it just didn't look right to me. I didn't like it. Also, the other thing that really bothered me was the piped in crowd noise. I thought, I get it. In some moments, I didn't think about it, so it kind of enhanced a little bit. But then all of a sudden, I snapped. A split second later, I snapped and remembered. Oh wait, this is not real. This is piped in noise. So it's manufactured. So it's like they're trying to get me to feed off fake noise to like the match better. And it's like, no, that's not going to happen for me. I feel like my shoulder needs to pop or something. So Orton is just one step ahead of him. A lot of wrestling, your traditional wrestling holds, and Edge is looking frustrated. Edge goes after Orton's shoulder. Edge and Orton outside, sends Orton outside with some head scissors. Edge goes to the top, but Orton catches him, attempts to suplex him to the outside, but Edge clotheslines him onto the apron. Orton is busted open from a headbutt. Edge rams Orton's shoulder into the apron. Edge with a crossface. Orton gets foot on the rope for a break. Orton misses with the RKO. Edge goes for an anaconda vice, or the anti-venom, whatever you want to call it. But Orton gets to the rope. Orton with a neck breaker. And then he sends Edge back and forth into the ring and barricade. Then the commentary table. Edge is rammed into the stairs twice. He's slammed on the table. And then Orton... it sounds like he whispers, "I'm gonna fucking kill you, motherfucker." I'm pretty sure that's what he said, because it was pretty obvious. We get Edge rolled back into the ring for a 2 count. Orton looks up, then does the Three Amigos, or attempts to do the Three Amigos in honor of Eddie. There was a couple of these moments where they were doing homages to wrestlers of the past. Edge blocks after the second one and does the Three Amigos himself. We then get like a top fest going on. Orton pulls Edge into the post. We had a superplex by Orton for a 2 count. That was where I was talking about the angle where the cameraman, you can tell, is in the ring running up and getting a close-up of their faces. I just thought that was weird. Orton attempts draping DDT. Ed counters with the execution for a 2 count. Edge with a crossbody from the top for a 2 count. Edge hits a sit-down powerbomb for a 2 count. And then Edge is dumped to the outside, then gets a draping DDT. An Edge-o-matic for a 2 count. Then Edge goes for the I'm Prettier, which is Christian's old finishing move, for a 2 count. Orton hits a pedigree for a 2 count. And then Edge comes back with a rock bottom for a 2 count. So they were just going back and forth, false finishes with other people's moves. Orton gets the RKO, but Edge kicks out, which, you don't see that often, but obviously with a match like this, it was expected. Edge with 2 spears, and Orton kicks out. Edge kicks out of another RKO, so his second RKO now he kicked out of, which is pretty wild. Edge finally locks in the anaconda vice, the anti-venom, whatever you want to call it. But the way Orton was in front of the referee, he was shielding himself, so he does a knee to the front area to the balls of Edge, and then does the punt for the win, which apparently we haven't seen the punt for almost 7 years. I believe they said the last time was 2013. And then while he's knocked out, Edge, Orton rolls up to him and then whispers in his ear, tells him to go home, see your family, and tell them Uncle Randy says hi. So now we have our also 50-50 booking, as we did with Jeff Hardy and Sheamus. Actually, let me stop myself there. We do get word that Edge has torn his triceps during this match, which is absolutely awful, terrible thing to happen, especially for a guy that was just coming back from injury after so many years off. So unfortunately, he will be out about 4 to 6 months. We just don't know. I don't know when it exactly happened in the match, but apparently I missed it, but you could see some bruising start to form on his arm. So unfortunately, he'll have to go for surgery and get that fixed up. But yes, I mean, right now with 4 to 6 months, that puts it toward the end of the year. Could be something like Survivor Series or something like that, depending on the healing factor there. But overall, it was a good match. The pay-per-view was all right. I mean, there were some moments that were like, some moments that were, the Street Profits thing, the ending of the Asuka match. But overall, it was a decent pay-per-view. I mean, still always tough, with no fans there in attendance. And I do think this, I think because people were so fixated on this ridiculous tagline about the greatest match ever, it was just dumb. It was unnecessary. I think that was part of the reason why they didn't have the IC title match on the pay-per-view, because they knew that Bryan and AJ, if it was live or it taped, it was going to be a banger of a match, and that it would maybe take some thunder away from what is supposed to be the greatest match ever, which it wasn't. It was a good match. It was a really good match. It was very entertaining. Obviously, like I said, the piped-in crowd noise and some of the camera angles I didn't enjoy, which took down my excitement for the match or my enjoyment of the match, but not so much so that I didn't like it. So anyway, there you have it. That is my Backlash recap and review for last night, Sunday the 14th. So I will be back with... I'm trying to get to work on my movie review of King of Staten Island. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet, but I want to watch it. I want to review that. And then, obviously, my weekend reviews for AEW and WWE. As always, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment, yada, yada, yada. Social media down there. Let me know how I'm doing. Tell me if I'm good. And as always, stay safe, love each other, and bye now. Hey there, so I'm here to just check on the repairs to the AC unit. Everything is working okay? About that, wasn't exactly working as well as I thought it would, as well as you said it would. So I kind of went and got a second opinion. Yeah. Oh, second opinion. Okay, that happens. By chance, can you let me know who you asked? Well, it's funny you should ask because, obviously you kind of dropped by unannounced. He's actually here right now, working on it. So, let me go grab him. What up, Freeze? Guy's name is Freeze, can't even fix an air conditioner. Don't worry, guy. I got it working perfectly. Captain Cold, you son of a bitch. This is the guy you brought in? This is the one? I mean, he was highly recommended. Cold isn't his name. So, kind of the way Freeze was in yours. I'm sorry. I fucking started the Cold gimmick. This guy comes in trying to take my name, trying to take everything that's cold away from me. Now he's taking air conditioner repairs. Whoa, Freeze, calm down, buddy, calm down. Just because you were the first doesn't mean you're the best. You've had your time, you've had your run. Now it's for the new blood to come in and take over. You still got your Freeze puns and whatnot, so you're good. Guys, there's no reason to fight. Let's all get along here. Shut the fuck up, Firestorm. Nobody asked you. Seriously, Firestorm, nobody fucking asked you to be here. It's like 90 degrees out. Get the hell out of here. What a jerk off that Firestorm is, right? I know, such a tool. Yeah, man, my fault. I didn't mean to take your thing right now, Someone just asked me to help out, and I did. Cold's kind of my thing. I know it's yours too, but we can coexist, right? I guess you're right. My apologies.